let's start with some level of positivity here before you beat me.
Defense. Oh,
defense.
What a difference Richard, a couple weeks makes, Mitchell. This defense, everybody last year, they got to figure it out on defense. What's Clint Hurtt doing? 2 weeks in a row, they don't win because of their defense. Well, last week they should have won because of their defense. They did not win, but their defense played really well against Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals. The offense disappeared in the red zone, gave up some sacks, and play as well as they needed to. This week, again, the defense was not going to allow this thing to go bad. The Seahawks had 3 turnovers in the game. They came into the game with only 3 turnovers on the season, Mitchell. So Pete Carroll prides his teams on turnover differential. Like, you're not going to give the ball away. That's not going to be how we lose the game. Unfortunately, they turned it over. But they only scored 3 points off of them, Mitchell, because of that Seahawks defense. Give Jordan Brooks a lot of credit. Darrell Taylor had a coming out party. They had 4 sacks on the game. Jaron Reed continues his leadership in his career year. Boye Mafe got him on the board again. Guys are getting there. They're getting a lot of pressure, but don't forget about the Hall of Famer. First ballot, 9-time All-Pro. Is it 10 now? Might be 10. It's good. Infinite. It doesn't matter. When they start, they'll talk to accolades on the first ballot when they give him his jacket. But his leadership, along with this corner play, these corners are playing some really good football. These safeties, Quandre Diggs, Julian Love. And then guess who's back? Guess who's back off the Mazak? Jamal Adams, one of the better safeties in the National Football League, is back and playing his role incredibly well. Give him all the credit in the world. Geno played good enough. But JSN, DK Metcalf was down coming into this game. He was injured. He did not play, did not suit up. So they needed a bigger game from Jaxon Smith-Njigba, and he delivered for a touchdown in the game, his first career touchdown. Woo! First of many. Led the team in receiving, Mitchell. It was a joy to watch. I can't wait. I think these Seahawks, are they going to sneak into my power rankings? I wanted that win last week. Do I want to sneak them in? I wanted that win last week, Mitchell. You give me that win last week, they in my power ranks. I don't know. I want to put them in, Mitchell. What you think?
I think that this team's looking pretty darn good. And Richard, I'll say this. You touched on it briefly. JSN, Jaxon Smith-Njigba, needed this game more than anyone else on the Seahawks roster. I mean, he's the highly touted, first-round pick out of Ohio State. I was talking about him before he was even drafted. I love this kid. I mean, he was a beast at Ohio State. And, Richard, he finally got his name called. DK Metcalf being out this game was probably the best thing that could have happened to the Seattle Seahawks because I think it gave JSN some confidence. I think they've got another guy in that offense. And, Richard, John Schneider has done it again after again after again. It reminds me when you were drafted. I mean, there was 3 drafts in a row where he just hit it out of the park. And, Richard, he did it. He's done it consecutive drafts. I mean, Seattle's stacked with young talent, offensive line young talent. You already touched it. Defensive line's getting after the quarterback. Bobby Wagner holding it down. The skill positions now are starting to rise up. You see my boy K9 still doing what he's doing, over 100 yards.
Yes,
I mean, come on now.
Yes, sir.
But the arrival of JSN, if this team wants to tip the scales and turn into NFC contenders, it starts with that man right there.
And then you can't forget about Bobo. Bobo Mitchell from UCLA. He's playing good football. He's been, he was a feel-good story coming out of training camp, making the team. People didn't expect a lot. He had 4 catches for 61 yards, a TD, his first career touchdown, along with Jaxon Smith-Njigba. These guys are going to be part of the future. Foundational pieces is what John Schneider has found. Foundational. You talk about Devin Witherspoon and how he played against one of the best receivers in the National Football League in Jamar Chase. Fearless. And that's not even including a pick 6, a couple games ago, 97 yards or so. I'm sure that's some kind of Seahawks rookie record. Then you talk about Tariq Woolen, who we haven't heard a lot about because it's not a lot to hear. He's playing good football. You're not going to hear about him. Then you talk about Boye Mafe, like amongst the league leaders in pressure rate and pass rush win rate. Of course he is. And Jaron Reed, a guy who they let go somewhere else, but they drafted him to the Seattle Seahawks initially. Another guy. And then Darrell Taylor, who hasn't had the best start to his career, but showed flashes week in and week out and finally got home this week. And then you got Jaxon Smith-Njigba. Then you got the two tackles, Abe Lucas and Charles Cross. And then you got your boy K. Now, Mitchell, I could go on and 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 on.
The biggest scouting story, I think, of everything you just said is Jake Bobo. The guy ran a 4.99 at the combine, Rich. That he's not an offensive guard. He is a wide receiver in this league running a 4.99. God bless him. 4 receptions, 61 yards, and a tutty. A nice little toe tap that they reviewed in that end zone. Richard, Seattle fans should be happy. They got a big game next week against the up-and-coming Browns.
Time for another week of the VLTED Challenge. Mitchell, we're excited to be using the VLTED app. VLTED spelled VLTED. VLTED is a place where you can store sports predictions and participate in cash prize pools without any entry fee. Download the app and join the Richard Sherman Monday Night Football Week 7 pool for a chance to win $2,500 in cash prizes. Again, it's totally free to join the pool. All you have to do is answer the questions and risk confidence points on each prediction for a chance to beat me and Mitchell, of course, and walk away with some serious cash prizes. Congratulations to our 3 winners from the last pool. Same stakes this week. First place takes home $2,000. Make sure you join my Week 7 pool. And remember, VLTED offers free pools with cash prizes every single day. Last time, Mitchell won 2 out of 3. I know, guys, I know. He finished 9 units up. Now, you don't look all pretentious. Now, I don't need all that, Mitchell. After one challenge, I'm down 9 units on the season. But it's not over. It's not over. It's the first to 50 wins. Not the first to 9, the first to 50. Our VLTED Challenge. Mitchell, what's your first pick?
Well, first off, Rich, I just want to make things clear here. The whole reason we have this partnership with VLTED is because I have become the prediction master. And the volume just said, hey, we have got to partner with a brand that allows Mitchell to showcase his skill set with his predictions. I mean, let's not forget Tony Pollard, Rich, last year's breakout player offensively, at least in fantasy. And Richard, this year, Sam Laporta. Let's not forget the Detroit Lions struck gold in Iowa City. Come on now. So here we are, a year later, the volume has presented us with an awesome partner in VLTED. And Richard, I'm back for our second pool to kick your ass once again. Oh. This time, though, this is going to hurt, too, because the Vikings, they're playing your San Francisco 49ers. And Richard,
go with your division rival, Mitchell.
I'm willing to risk it for the biscuit. The Vikings without Justin Jefferson and the 49ers fresh off taking an L to Cleveland. The Vikings are going to cover 7.5. Wow. I'm going to risk 5 units here. I know it might sound crazy, but I'm taking the Vikings plus 7.5 to make the cover. Richard, why do you accept my VLTED challenge?
Mitchell, I accept it willingly and freely and openly because, Mitchell, that's insanity. But I don't want to stop you, Mitchell, because I need a comeback. So risk 5, maybe risk 6.
Well, Richard, part of me, I feel sorry for you ultimately, so I feel like I have to make this pick. Hey, Mitchell, yeah. So
I have no pride about
taking trying to let you get back into the game here. Okay. But ultimately, what's going to happen is the Vikings are going to cover, and you're just getting more behind. So that we'll start there. My second prediction, Richard, and this one's it's National Tight Ends Day today, after all.
Right.
I predict the former Lion tight end, TJ Hawkinson, will have more receiving yards than your boy, George Kittle, Mr. 1 reception for 1 yard last week. George Kittle. TJ Hawkinson. Yeah, yep. And you know what, Rich? I feel very confident about this. I'm risking 8 units here. TJ Hawkinson, better than George Kittle. Richard, why do you accept my VLTED challenge?
Mitchell, because National Tight Ends Day, they got a picture in the dictionary, Mitchell, of National Tight Ends Day. Guess who it is? It's George Kittle in that Iowa jersey and that 49ers jersey, Mitchell. Tight End University. Mitchell, that's But whatever, Mitchell, I my goodness, I graciously accept. Graciously, humbly.
Richard, I'm gonna take it one step further here.
Don't.
Just to really kick you further while you're down, because they're not going to cover. I'm sorry, the Vikings are going to cover the 7.5 point spread. TJ Hawkinson is going to have more receiving yards than George Kittle. And you know what? The big bruiser, the 49ers will not have the number 1 seed in the NFC at the end of this season. Richard, I know it might sound crazy, but I'm taking my Detroit Lions to secure the number 1 seed, despite absolutely getting obliterated in Baltimore. And yes, you might ask, Mitchell, have you been drinking today?
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to ask.
The answer is yes, Richard. I have been, but I still feel very confident. And Richard, I'm risking 6 units here. The 49ers will not be the number 1 seed in the NFC this season. 6 units is risk. Richard, why do you accept my VLTED challenge?
Mitchell, I could not accept it more graciously and excitedly because they're going to be the 1 seed, Mitchell. I can name a number of reasons. Kyle Shanahan, Christian McCaffrey, the defense, Nicholas Johnson, both. You know my soiree. You know what I mean? You know where I'm going to go with this, my whole spiel of sorts. But I thank you, Mitchell. I appreciate that because that's going to be it's going to be a lot of points for me, and I'm excited. This is your week's VLTED challenge. Those are your predictions for Monday Night Football Week 7. They're locked into the vault. If you want to prove you're smarter than your friends, go download the VLTED app and use the challenge feature. And make sure you enter the Richard Sherman Week 7 Monday Night Football pool because not only do you have a chance to beat me, which you're probably not going to do. Now, you're not going like Mitchell is. You don't bet with your money with old Mitchell over there.
Right.
But it's totally free to join, and first place wins $2,000. I will also send the pool winner a challenge of my own. Remember, VLTED is spelled VLTED, and the QR code is right on the screen. We make it pretty easy for you, baby. Download the app today.
Richard's excited to take his second L in this week's VLTED pool, so I'll leave you with that.
Mitchell, I'm not an R&B singer. You ain't gonna do me LL. I know that.